Hello and welcome back again to the Vintage Podcast, where this week Piers will be interviewing me, Ethan. I'll be talking about some of my recommendations, my story as a wine enthusiast, and my background with the business. If you're interested in any of the recommendations that I make or that anybody else makes on these episodes, you can check out the links down below just to find out a little bit more about how you can order them from us and how we can ship them to you anywhere in the British Isles. Don't forget to also follow the show so you don't miss any more episodes. But for now, we'll just get on with the show.
So Ethan, you've been with us how many months now? About 3?
At time of recording, I think it's 3. Yeah.
3? Yeah.
So it's from November 24, the very end of November 24 to end of February.
Very good.
25.
Yeah. So what have you? What has the vintage brought to you?
Honestly, primarily and above all else, it is employment. Yeah. Because I was full-time self-employed for 5 years before I came here, and it was one of those cases of I'd gotten myself in a position where I got sick of being in charge of everything, and I was like, let's go and move to something else and reduce the stress in my life and get involved in something potentially on a more local level, because I was kind of working on a national-ish level to an extent as well.
You know, flying over and stuff like that there, yeah.
Sometimes, but again, a lot of Zoom calls where people didn't show up and sitting on things like that. So what this has brought to me is like a kind of calm center and stable, comfortable employment and a good team of people to work with.
And do you enjoy the fact that it's a team and you're working with other employers rather than...
I need, unless... So there's certain elements of employment that I can do on my own, but there's not a lot of stuff I can do on my own, like say driving. Yeah. If I have to drive somewhere, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But if I have to do a whole day's work and it's only me involved, sucks, hate it.
Yeah.
But the fact that everything is done in here on a team basis, I think is great. I love the idea, like, you know,
everyone has their own tasks kind of thing.
And no one has like singular tasks, like no one is the one person who does this.
Yeah. It's like everyone does everything.
Yeah.
So like, so even like take me and you for example, you know, like we both do parcel force, we'll both do purchase orders, we'll both do deliveries. Yeah. You know, stuff like that there.
So the idea of this project that we're like doing right here is that'll become something that we all get to know and jump in and out of and project manage in ways. So and I like that, because if you don't have that, you either have to join that or you have to create that. And I think creating that can be really hard. Creating that is like sifting through the right people to get the ones who you know will fit the dynamic and will have a general sense of wanting to produce work to any degree of quality is hard. So it was really good to find. I didn't really know what I was in for at all when I joined, but to find straight away that it was just like, oh, these are nice people. That was pretty cool. That was really cool.
That's what I find as well. You know, it's not even well picked. It's just all of a sudden, all these people are just all of us just got on so well. Yeah. And it's just
it's good.
It's just the way it happened. Did you know much about alcohol before you came in? Or
so the past, I'd say we're coming up on 2 or 3 years maybe of me changing my tastes and stuff. So after I was a student, I graduated a couple of months before my 22nd birthday, and around that time was when I decided I was going to stop drinking, because hangovers as a student, not all students drink to appreciate what they're drinking. Yeah. You drink because you're drinking.
You want to get better,
And I was living away from home. I was living in basically like my own accommodation. I was surrounded by friends all the time. So anytime you drank, it was like 14 Desperados, and I was like, this isn't worth it anymore. Yeah. It really isn't. I stopped. The day that I was like, can't do this anymore, I was in one of the bars in Randallstown with a friend. Right. And he kept sending us up to the bar to order, and I was ordering blackcurrant juice. So I stopped drinking for 2 or 3 years on the go. Like, just didn't touch alcohol at all. Maybe like 2 glasses of champagne that whole time, if at all. And then right before my stag weekend, I rediscovered Guinness, and then just kind of took a whole other appreciation for alcohol from the point of view of just having a couple of pints, sort of thing.
Yeah, more of like a socialness rather than actually going out just to get drunk.
Yeah, and that was before you got the whole tilting the head of the pint thing as well. So it was just, you just want a Guinness.
Yeah.
And I would have done that with mates. I would have had a couple of pints at university as well, but not to the same effect that you would have.
You appreciate it more.
And then around about, it's coming up on 2 years ago, we got invited. So there's my brother's wife, so my sister-in-law, her family, there's a really, really lovely couple, her great aunt and uncle, I think, invited my wife and I and my brother and his wife to like a dinner party that they hosted. And there was they invited a friend of theirs along as well, he's got WSET to a high level, I think, and I don't know if he's like a trained sommelier or anything like that, but he knows wine really, really well.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
And what they do is you go to their house and they put out a whole menu for the evening.
Oh, right, okay.
In the dining room, you know what you're eating over the course of the evening, and he's paired wine with everything on it.
Oh, right, okay.
And that was, so I just had anybody's view of wine at that point. I was just like, yeah, it is what it is. Like, I know that you can draw certain things from it, but I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
But over the course of this one evening, that guy managed to completely rewrite
your thought process.
Of how to approach wine. Yeah. And he taught me so I've talked to Paddy on this about the 5 S's and the process of tasting wine, and he's taking me through in a bit of detail, and I'm learning stuff while I work here. But that was the first time I started to be like, oh, okay, there's
more to this than just alcohol.
And it was like a full evening of whites with fish, and you had reds with red meat, and you had right through to the end, we had dessert wine, and there was champagne, and then there was port, and it was like you had a full range of everything. And then 6 months later we did it again with a whole other range of stuff, and it was things. So, but this was to an extent that I've yet to see elsewhere as well, because he was picking supermarket wine as well, which I know most like I would even say don't pick supermarket wine.
No, it's a whole different kind of quality.
Yeah, but he had picked. So there's Sainsbury's do a bottle in a cardboard bottle of wine.
Okay.
And it's not overly great.
Yeah.
But he paired it the right way, and he showed you how to use stuff that's not that good to then bring it out in the right way. Yeah. So it's like kind of surprising ways, and we've had all kinds of. So there was a bottle of white that he wouldn't tell us the price of one evening as well. So it's everywhere.
It's kind of like, and he's kind of like a teacher nearly as well.
I would actually love to bring him in here at some point.
That'd be really good for a tasting night.
You could do a whole evening, but it's one of those things you have to wait and see. But so that was about a year after that second one, somewhere around then. I was on Indeed just applying for every single job that I had any kind of qualification for, because I was like, I need to stop being self-employed. I need to find something. And on Indeed one day, just by chance, I saw this job. It said wine enthusiast in the title, and I was like,
I'm getting that.
What is like? No, not even. I was like, wine enthusiast. Like, what a strange job title. And it was more that caught my eye, and I was like, and then I flicked through, and I was like, the Vintage, and I was like, that's the shop that I live near. Like, what's going on? It felt like a weird little thing. It just like popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, how can something that's like looks that interesting be so close to home? And then when I looked at the job description, it was like anyone could really go for this if they wanted to, because it's such an open description. It's not like it's not looking for one person. So I was like, the job title, I was like, I am enthusiastic about wine.
Yeah, well, there's that.
And I made the application, and within about a week and a half, Paddy had pretty much confirmed, because I had some stuff that I had to sort out, and then I had a trip to go on. And since then, obviously, like we've been saying, to go back to your question, I've been learning pretty much every week something about something new, and then this whole project here has been part of the job description I applied for, was trying to revamp and revitalize what we do socially and digitally as well, trying to draw information out of the team so that we can all learn and continue to keep learning. And like,
yeah, and the thing is, we all learn off each other.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You know, me or you, we're in the lower end of intelligence about wine and stuff like that there, but you know, like one way I did it, I always found was really good, was just if Paddy and Joe were sitting talking to a customer and recommending something to them,
listen,
just stand back, like, you know, go up to one of the bottles, just start twisting it, like literally back and forth like this. Just make yourself look like you're doing something, and just listen. That's all you have to do. Is just listen to see what they say.
Duck down behind the counter and just rattle a bottle of vodka back and forward.
Oh yeah, just sounds like you're doing something. Exactly. Just make yourself look busy,
so you can learn what. Yeah, I've done that. Yeah,
but yeah.
And it's really interesting, the things that you do pick up, and then I'm starting to remember all the different things that I've heard about alcohol from elsewhere is starting to come back to me as well. Like just weird little stories. Like there's a really good Blind Boy podcast episode about the origin of Bailey's and why it has. And I'll not go into it now because it's one of those things that I like telling it to customers and stuff because it's interesting. But looking up Blind Boy and Bailey's is a really, really cool. He does like an hour and a half on why it's linked to Kerrygold butter and everything. It's really, really cool. But those things start to come back to you, and then you just kind of build this like package of information that you can share with people, and it's quite good.
So your own wee vintage bubble.
Yeah. And then what we want to try and do is push that information that we have out to a wider range of people.
No, 100%.
Because all we have now is people who come in and out physically, and then we're trying to think of what can we do to.
What else can we do to get the information out there?
Because I'm looking forward to doing some of the events. That bring people in, and you can kind of, it's like a little bit of captive info there, but I think something bigger still would be good.
No, 100%. So what would you say, like if someone came in just randomly, one of our customers came in and asked you specifically, what would you pair with, say, bolognese?
Bolognese? So so Paddy and I have been talking about the WSET qualifications and waiting to get those, so that the idea of the real knowledge of how to do that kind of thing is yet to come. But I think some of the, and I mean objectively this is probably going to be wrong from an actual pairing point of view, but some of the Australian reds that we've been trying recently from Langweil and Darrenberg, I would put with them, just because you get that, in my experience, especially with homemade bolognese, you get that kind of sweetness, because I don't put a lot of salt when I'm cooking things, so you get a lot of sweetness from tomatoes. I would put it with some of the sharper Australian reds, I would say.
100%.
Something, and I would, there are a lot of different price ranges that depend on how much someone wants to pay for those as well. So
again, then what would you recommend? The one product that we have in the shop, what is the all-star favorite? Like, what is the one that stands out the most to you?
I think the thing I've noticed the best since I first tried it and then pushed it to people through Christmas and beyond was the Perdido Tempranillo from Spain, the wee Spaceman one. Because it was in my head, I was starting to look at like what we were selling. This was in around the second week of December, so I knew I was really fresh, and there was this. I mean, I'm a science fiction fan, like die hard since I was a little kid, and if you hand me a bottle of wine with a spaceman on it, it's like I'm gonna drink that wine.
Tick all them boxes.
Yeah. But then to find out the wee spaceman wine was like pretty good, and then to find out that it only cost £10 is like the whole image that came together really well for me. And since then, you kind of watch it. You tell people like, yeah, see for a tenner, this one's really, really good. And then they come back next week, and people have literally come back next week and bought 2, 3, 6. Since then, and it absolutely flies out of the shop.
It's completely flying out of the shop at the minute. Like, we're buying cases coming in. We're getting at least 6, 7 cases just to do us a week, just so that it comes in. Or so that it stays there, you know.
And it's one of those ones, you know, has that popularity as well because it comes in boxes of 12 with straight from the supplier. So it's it's not my go-to, but I think if you had something that stands out to me the most, that would be it. But then kind of in and surrounding it, the Vellarino was one that surprised me as well for very little more than that. So it was about £12. Another real like high scoring one. And then there were the Australian reds again, the ones that we've tried. We tried a range of in one evening. Joe and Paddy and I tried 10 different Darrenberg wines. I had an extra one in there from Henry Pelham, but it was different. And then Langweil came to us, and we tried their full range basically, right up to like the £100 to £225 a bottle range kind of stuff. And it was one of those ones where it was almost became overwhelming because you're like 10 different wines, all of which are absolutely incredible, and the more expensive they get, the better they get. I would go, if you have a budget, go with any of these because it's hard to beat, really hard to beat. Especially if you say you like Shiraz, anything from there, even if it's not a Shiraz, you will still go for it. And then last week, were you here when Forest were here?
I was, yeah.
They surprised me, so that's one I'll be pushing people towards because it's like
that Pinot Gris. That was really good. I really loved that Pinot Gris. So it was really nice.
I would push people in that direction too. So
even the Pinot, was it the Pinot Noir then after?
Yeah,
it was really nice. It wasn't wasn't what I expected from Pinot Noir, because I don't know if you've tried it, but the St. George Levou, St. George Levos, or
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it's French, but that there's a lot lighter in body than what.
I don't know if I've had it.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure, but
it's a lot. Like, it would be a lot. It's very, very light for a Pinot Noir. Like, a Pinot Noir is light in general, but it's very light. You know.
Yeah.
And that Pinot Noir that we had from Forest, completely like a whole different.
They were both the ones we tried were really, really surprising. And then now, the following day, Paddy got in pretty much their full range. There's 5 different grapes that they'll do.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to try them, but I would be keen to get any number of them, because they were all, like, the ones we did have were really, really impressive.
And then the fact that at the very end we then found out that it was actually the winemaker was giving us the bottles.
that was a real surprise. I was talking to someone else about this. Like, we had you normally get and I've talked to Paddy, and people will have heard that already, that I've asked him what it feels like to have someone who's come to the UK from Australia as a rep for their company to talk about their brand, and they'll come all the way to Antrim to this little shop that he has. Like, he talked about how that feels, and I think it's a really cool thing. But then last week there was a lady from New Zealand was in the shop, and we were chatting to her, and she was telling us about the wine.
Yep.
And super modest, really, really
so
friendly.
modest. Like, you would have thought she was just a rep.
And then so Lucy asked her, "Are you with the sales team for Forest?" And she's like, "No, I am
Forest. Like, her second name was
her
Forest.
name, and it was so that it's a really interesting experience that you pick up as part of this as well. Is that you're, I don't know, wine does have that high up, out of reach kind of thing in a social sense. Like, it's very haughty sometimes, and even when you get to know it, it still feels like the winemakers are sort of up there giving down to you. Not in a bad way, but it's like they are providing, I am up here, I know what's going on, here is the product.
Yeah.
And then you sort of think, this is Forest. Forest must mean something, whatever. I'm never going to meet the person who owned it. And she's standing in the shop. Whereas,
pouring us a glass.
And I was thinking, but you haven't gone anywhere. She's come from the other side of the planet,
literally,
into the shop, and it that's fascinating. And then so even when the word that we would be doing this first got out, the 3 of us were in Belfast at a tasting event for Darrenberg, and their rep, he was a Spanish guy who lives somewhere in Germany, really, really friendly guy, but commutes back and forth from Australia and all over Middle East, everything like that, to rep for Darrenberg. Immediately he was like, I could get the winemaker on 10 minutes for you, you can do an interview with him. And it was just like,
first of all, how do you know?
Oh no, because he knows the guy.
No, how do you know about the podcast?
Well, yes, yeah, fair enough. But it was just that sense of like, all of a sudden the whole world of it came down very small, and like it was all very accessible, and everyone's suddenly within reach, and that was really nice. The wine community feels more like a community and not this hierarchy of scary things.
Exactly.
So it'll be cool. So I imagine if we still have that guy's contact details, we'll be able to bring someone from Darrenberg on the show, which is the real reason we wanted to do this kind of thing. So hopefully that sort of comes to pass. So,
100%. Yeah. Well, that's everything from Ethan. That is
for now anyway.
For now anyway, yeah, you'll see him a lot more than what you'll probably see me, but that's his story of how he got here and what he's excited about and what he's going to see.
The idea is that over time, I don't have we don't use titles, but part of what I'll do is bring kit like this to things and use it to show off what we're doing and get the word. So that's how you'll get to know me in a sense, not so much through me sharing things, but through me taking you through what's going on, and you'll get to know the rest of us by extension of that. So I'm excited to see what we can do.
Yeah, 100%.
Thanks so much for listening to the Vintage Podcast. Everything on this show is produced in-house, including the music. If there's anything you'd like to ask us, or if you'd like to pose a question for a future episode, check out the links in the description, where you'll be able to find contact forms, email addresses, and social media links, as well as links to any of the products that we've mentioned on the show. If you want to follow us just to keep up to date with episodes, you should be able to do so on most major podcast platforms. And if you want to ask us about anything, we're always here to talk. Please don't forget to follow the show, and we look forward to hearing from you in the near future. Thanks.